With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and sorry for the delay of getting stuff uploaded recently. As you can tell, I have a cold, so I've been taking a bit of a break, but I did want to talk about this one. This is something that I find to be interesting because it says a lot about where things are currently with the DCEU, where Walter Hamada is taking the franchises and where he's going with DC films. Because this is a pretty big upset. This is a pretty big shakeup here. Joss Whedon no longer directing the Batgirl movie. That is big news. That is huge news. And, you know, some people out there like Grace Randolph have come out and been like, oh, well, it just means that he was fired. I'm like, yeah, probably. But it's not fired for, like, you know, incompetence. It's just I think they went a different direction. And it probably a fair amount of it has to do with the media, if you want my honest opinion. But we'll talk about that here in a sec. So Joss Whedon's Batgirl is no more. After moving from Marvel Studios to Warner Brothers and DC last year, in the hopes of writing and directing a movie based on Barbara Gordon, the writer-director has officially exited the project, leaving it without a filmmaker at the moment. And this is what Whedon has to say. Batgirl is such an exciting project, and Warner's and DC are such collaborative and supportive partners, that it took me months to realize that I didn't have a story. I'm grateful to Jeff Johns and Toby Emmerich and everyone who was so welcoming when I arrived, and so understanding when is there a sexier word for failure? Or failed. And I don't necessarily think that's entirely fair. Joss Whedon is an accomplished writer-director. Whether you like the guy's politics or not, you can't deny he's had an impact on geek culture and popularizing that, right? And the thing is, he's just had a bit of a wild ride recently, and it's entirely possible that what happened here has a lot to do right now with the social climate involving Hollywood and the metoo movement and Time's Up, and here's why I say that. So it goes down here and it says, Whedon's ex-wife says some pretty damning things about him in the media last year, and in the age of metoo and Time's Up, Hollywood is finally being more reactive to those types of concerns. There's no denying that Whedon has had a tremendous impact on geek-friendly pop culture, but maybe it's time for someone else to take a shot. And that's basically kind of what's happening here. Is reports are coming out now that they want to look for a female director for this movie. And everyone's talking about, oh, this is because of the success of Patty Jenkins on Wonder Woman and Ryan Coogler directing Black Panther. Those movies may not have been as successful if directed by a white dude. And that is, I think, a valid concern to bring up. Sure, why not? Or a statement to make. They could not be. We have no idea because they never happened. Right. And if we're playing that kind of, you know, what if game, we could always argue Ghostbusters would have been better if it was directed by anyone else other than Paul Feig. So you have that. But essentially what's going on here is with that statement is because of Joss Whedon's ex-wife, you know, saying that he cheated on her multiple times with women that he worked with women that he definitely put into the spotlight. There's been a rumor floating around for a while that it was Scarlett Johansson that he was bumping uglies with on the set of Avengers, and that was kind of somewhat corroborated in the statement by the wife, only because she had said that he did it around 2011, 2012, when they were finishing up Avengers. So there's definitely that. No one's ever come out and made the accusation or made the claim of who it was, but it kind of leads you to think, you know, if he's banging his leading ladies, who was the leading lady in Avengers, and that would be Scarlett Johansson. Not only that, but you've also got like a letter written from him kind of confirming these things, like in a confession. So yeah, he's had problems on his personal side, but come on, this is Hollywood. I mean, I'm not trying to like defend, you know, anyone being in cheaters. I'm not trying to defend cheaters, but it's not like it doesn't happen, right? It's very common. It's super common in Hollywood for people to cheat, for infidelity to be a thing. It's not an uncommon thing. Look at how fast the divorce rate happens with celebrities. They make it, what, 6 months, 2 years, file for divorce, on to the next couple. I mean, come on. It's just, it's part of that environment. I'm not defending it, but that is a culture that's there. And so trying to tie it into the Me Too movement is a low blow, in my opinion. It's a low blow, but it's an effective blow. It is. It's low but effective, because let's be realistic here. The DCEU as it stands is going to be 5 years old in June. 2013 was the release of Man of Steel, which I still hold that movie in absolutely high regards. I loved it. And then, that movie did okay, right? People were excited to see what's going to come next. Then, of course, the month afterward, they announced Batman v Superman, which got everyone a little bit kind of, okay, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm okay with it. And then we saw Batman v Superman, and the movie just was completely lambasted by the media. And that had a lot to do with how the execs at DC Films decided to handle that. And then, they tried to restructure, brought in Jeff Johns, removed Zack Snyder from running the show, allowed him to finish Justice League, but still brought in more people. Then Justice League ended up failing because Joss Whedon came on to take over the finishing up roles where that was tonally different from what Zack Snyder was up to. Hence why there's been a huge hubbubaloo about the Zack Snyder cut of the movie, which, did you know, like, the people behind the petition are now trying to crowdfund for a documentary? Just saying, that's where things are at right now. And so Whedon may have been a little bit busy working on, finishing up Justice League to get around to doing a good story. But at the same time, I don't think man or woman is going to is going to have a one-up on telling a better story of Batgirl. Not that Barbara Gordon is a one-dimensional character. She's very multi-layered, but there's been so many stories to pull from. An adequate screenwriter could sit there and find a good one and then repurpose that, repackage that into a year one type story. And then what you've got also is Grace Randolph, and I do kind of agree with her here, saying that it would be cool to just go straight into the Oracle story, start with the scene from The Killing Joke, do that, and then go forward. No, you don't want to lead with that. The negative press would be there. The negative press would automatically say that this movie is exemplifying and glorifying violence against women, and it's not going to give Batgirl the ability to shine on her own, so on and so forth. But if they turn it into a trilogy, where you had the kind of Batgirl year one, then Batgirl, then Oracle, where it ends on, the second Batgirl movie ends on the cliffhanger of her being shot by the Joker. Then, of course, they do the Killing Joke live action movie, and then lead that in with Oracle. It would be pretty dope. It'd be pretty dope if they did something like that. And I think that would work out if they were able to kind of work it properly within the realm of storytelling. And I think audiences would be okay with it. But right now, given the climate of Hollywood, yeah, this is a political play. Walter Hamada is coming on in, and he's kind of looking at what's on the slate, looking at what's going on, and I think he's trying to avoid all the negative press that they got beforehand. Zack Snyder is out, Joss Whedon's out. They're going to go forward with not having a super interconnected universe, instead focusing on single standalone movies, which is, I'm sorry, something that we as audiences are absolutely beyond at this point. You don't have to sit there and copy Marvel directly, but you don't need to sit there and go the opposite direction from them. And that's going to cause confusion in the brand, and that's a problem. And I think that's what Hamada's up to. But then again, Hamada's also dealing with, Tushihara, the CEO of Warner Brothers, who demanded a 2-hour cut of Justice League, and that ultimately hurt the film in terms of the story and the narrative. And we're not even going to be getting any of the extra footage on a DVD or home video release, so we kind of get hosed in that regard as well. So you can see that right now the DCEU is very much in a place where they're trying to kind of come back from. I think they're in a restructuring phase. Obviously, Shazam's in production, Aquaman finished up production, it's in post. Wonder Woman starts filming here in a few months, coming out, winter of next year. And I think Suicide Squad 2 and a few other things are going to happen. But other than that, they're going to slow it down. Even Nightwing, which was kind of being pushed forward, is now being relatively, I think, backburnered. Even Chris McKay, the director of that story, broke the other day about him looking into other projects or something. So there's obviously a shakeup that's happening right now, and certain projects are going to get shelved, certain projects are going to be destroyed, and certain projects are going to be allowed to go forward, probably with tighter scrutiny from the powers that be. And this, to me, I'm not saying, I understand they're trying to shake it up. I understand they're trying to change things in order to really kind of right the ship. But the problem with that is that it shows such a distrust of what they've already established, that audiences are not going to wait around for them. Why would they? Black Panther, the 18th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has been out for a week and has already grossed $500 million worldwide. It's the 18th film in a franchise, and it's grossing $500 million in a week, right? Like, there's a reason for that. Is because they started off with a plan, and they kept to that plan. And yes, there's been fights along the way. Joss Whedon criticizing Kevin Feige after Age of Ultron cost Whedon, his position at Marvel, got him to leave Marvel. And, DC, well, due to the whole shakeup with Justice League, which I'm sorry, I do fully believe that they should have delayed Justice League until Zack Snyder could come back and properly finish it. I know that killed their release schedule. That would have killed it, but that's what they should have done. And it's the same problem that Batman v Superman had, is too many cooks in the kitchen, and now they're trying to play catch up, and as a result, Whedon is out. And he's out, again, for political reasons as well, and they're going to bring in a female director for political reasons as well, because at the end of the day, what they want is positive press from the media. I just like to remind you all out there that positive press from the media doesn't equal anything, means nothing. Look at the game Kingdom Come Deliverance, right? It's a kickstarted game, got lambasted by the regressive media, the left-leaning bloggers, because it didn't have people of color in it, because it takes place in 15th century Bohemia, of which there were few, if not any. And the game sold 1 million copies in a week because fans wanted to play it. Good word of mouth from the audience is what has sold it. Warner Brothers needs to stop messing with their movies, start trusting the audience over looking at the media, because the media has it out for DC. I'm sorry. That's my thoughts on that one. And it does really feel that way. And as a result of that, they need to get their shit together and not care about them, put out good quality products that the fans will then gush over, because the fans are what put the butts in seats. Warner Brothers, fix yourself, fix your crap, fix your studio, and just give us a decent movie. None of us care who's directing it or who's writing it. All we want is something good on the screen. That is your only job now. Don't fuck it up.